What's up guys, AlterGenesis back here with more Zenonzard. It's been a while since I've made a video for Zenonzard, but I have been continuing to play the game. And I'm here in this video to tell you why, if you wanted to play this game, now is the best time. As you can see on the screen right now, it is Zenonzard's first year anniversary for their Japanese release. Now, it was only released worldwide a few months ago when I started playing, but they have a lot of gifts going on. They already give a lot of gifts for new players. They give you a lot of packs to start to open up. But now is a really good time. On top of, if you're a new player, you get the starter packs, the launch packs, and then you get all of this as well. And then you have the login bonuses, which are pretty good, really generous. And then the missions, which also give a lot of packs. What's really good about what's going on with the anniversary right now is the legendary gacha, which is once per day, and you can also use gems to get a guaranteed legend. Now, if you remember my older videos, you know that the legend drop rate is 1.5%, as you can see on screen right there. So that's really low. So early on when I was playing and I spent a little bit of money, it was hard to get legends. But you have this gacha right here, which gives a guaranteed legend every time. And the cards here are pretty good. So the top decks right now, like the way Zenonzard decks work is that every time they introduce a new pack, it tends to be very strong, and it tends to like encourage people to buy the new pack. So new packs tend to boost up like certain colors, because prior to the new Heroic Masquerade deck, it was red and purple that were very powerful deck colors. But as you can see, these are all serviceable legends. In the current meta with the Heroic Masquerade deck, this is the legend you want. Angela is quite strong. It can be used in the what the Japanese called the Winnie deck. So you use a lot of level 2 low cost minions, and then they just kind of keep attacking. But early on I used the Twin Horn deck, and they also had a campaign where they gave away a green deck which had 2 of these cards. So I'm not sure if that's still going on. It's probably over at this point, but this was like a green deck circled around this card is very powerful early on in the game. Obviously this was an extremely powerful mana card, because it lets you get this monster into your hand, which is very strong. So the point is, you can have a legend every day, and even if you want to spend money, you can get, you know, all of these legends, which are all very good cards, mind you. So like, these are all cards that you will need in a lot of, you know, the decks that you will play. So now is a really good time to get into it. Now, since the last time I've played, you can see that I've risen to rank 42, so I'm in master rank right now. And in this video I just want to talk about how to get here and the decks that are currently meta right now, with the release of the new deck, the new card pack. So as you can see from, if I go back to the home page, you can see that my synchro level is majority red. So I was carried a lot by the very powerful red BS deck that coincided with the Battle Spirits collab. So you'll see like my most used decks here. So these are the two, Limpo Green and Orleans Blue are from the new pack. They're I would consider the 2 strongest decks right now. And if you remember, I was talking about the yellow Angela card. So this is the 2-star yellow. I don't have the cards to build these 2 yet. I'm still like waiting to earn spirits and coins and stuff like that to get more cards to break. But this was the deck, this red BS2, that really carried me. I've since updated it for the new cards, but the idea still remains the same of how this deck operates. See, the reason red BS got weaker is because they nerfed 2 cards that made it like extremely powerful. So they nerfed the Dan Banshin card, the BS card, the mana card. It's this card. So this card was nerfed because this card used to have 2 types. It used to be BS/Dragon. Now it's a 0 cost summon, which makes it like obviously really good because you don't have to, you know, use mana for it. And because it was a dragon, it really enabled the boss card of this deck, the Supernova Dragon Sigworm Nova, because you could destroy one of your own dragons, and you could restore your life points to 5, and all of your opponent's minions lose 500. Now that is an extremely powerful effect, which could wipe your opponent's boards of any monster 500 BP or below. And even if it didn't wipe them, this like all of your monsters could easily attack over. So it was completely like game changing at the end of a lot of battles, when you could have this monster on the field for 0, basically 0, and then just wipe the field. Extremely powerful. And the other extremely powerful card, which they have since nerfed, is Golem Summoning. See, Golem Summoning now costs 8. It used to be 6. And why that was so broken was because of Chiron, which reduces the cost of magic cards in your hand by 2. Now, if you do the math, 6 minus 2 is 4. So you could have 5 golems on your field for the cost of 4 mana. And that's really stupid, because when you have like Dust Curse, right, the basic cost goes down for each minion that is on the field, right? Or like anything cost reduction, right? Like then it becomes super easy to get these big monsters out. So they've nerfed that. So this deck is still good. Like if you're in the bottom ranks, anywhere like, you know, below master, this deck will still kill it. So if I show you the current build that I have for this deck, so the reason I put in Pubi, because as you can see, it's dragon. So you can use this to use the Supernova's busted effect. It's very good still. So this is still a strong deck. I'm not saying it's bad now, but it's weakened a little bit. Now the other deck I used, like I only used it at the end to get to master rank, is Skeleton Purple, also nerfed. This card, the same thing as the Bladra card. When you put this mana into your base, you get this card, Demo Bone, which used to be BS Skeleton. Now, the reason that was nerfed is because of this card, which was extremely popular and extremely strong for a very long time. Because when you put this into your deck, you get this card. So every time you summon a skeleton, it powers up, right? And once you get to this level, it becomes outrageously dumb. Like you cannot beat this monster. Because every time a minion is destroyed, it gains 100 BP and DP. And you can destroy one of your minions from skeleton class, and then you destroy another minion. And with this deck, you could keep reviving the skeleton, the BS skeleton from the grave, with like one of your revival cards. And it got kind of out of hand. Like this deck is extremely powerful, because you would have these for like revival. So these boss cards would be revival, and then you'd have your Andros on the field, and you know, extremely powerful, extremely tough to stop. I also updated this deck for the changes. It's obviously not as strong as it used to be without the Super Skeleton revival, but it's still a good deck. It can be a little expensive, mind you. I got a lot of like these key cards from like rolls and stuff. Like I got this one from a roll, and I got this one from the event. All right, And I got this one, if you remember in my first video, I got this in the first gacha from the opening gacha, where you're guaranteed a legend. And then I use spirits on this. So I kind of feel bad that this deck isn't as strong now, because I used like a ton of spirits to create this card. But it's alright. I mean, it's still a good deck. It's still good to have the cards, because you never really know how strong they will be in the future. Now, if we talk about how I climbed the ranks, I primarily in the early days I used, like I said, the Twin Horn deck. So this is basically a deck that focuses on summoning this card, because it cannot be selected for any effects. Very strong, like it's pretty much an instant. If you get it on the field and you're not behind, it's pretty much an instant win at that point. Because basically what the combo is, it's very simple, it's very easy to play. All you're trying to do is draw into your Tentacle Tangle and your Twin Horn Tree Walker, right? So it's pretty straightforward. This deck tries to protect you with Arrow Wall and like, you know, Lashley, which restores your life. So you're trying to like stall for as long as possible, get mana into your base until you get to your Tree Walker, which can be searched by the effect of Jack. The second magic effect of Jack. Or sorry, it's the third effect of Jack. So you can search the Tree Walker. So obviously once you have the Tree Walker on the field, you let it sit on the field, you have all the mana on your base, so then its DP becomes huge. And then you use Tentacle Tangle to rest all of your opponent's minions so they can't block, and then you just attack for the win. Very straightforward, very easy deck. It will overpower a lot of decks at the lower level. So if you're looking for something relatively cheap, I mean, this is the deck you go to. You do not need Platorna. When early on I did not have 3 Platornas. I didn't even have a Platorna. So I used whatever card helped me draw faster. So if you have, because Platorna is not necessarily a draw card, it's just like a reshuffle. So you kind of like put as many cards as you want back into your deck and draw as many back. So if you don't have the cards for your combo, you kind of use Platorna for that. But really what you want to do is just get into your deck as fast as possible. So if there are cards that can speed up your thinning to your deck, use that instead of Platorna, right? And you only need 2 of these, so you don't need 3. You don't have to worry about like spending 10,500 spirits or whatever the case might be to get that. Now I just want to quickly go over the 3 decks that you should probably be building towards right now with the new packs. So it's a yellow, a blue, and a green. So I've shown you a purple, a red, and an old green that I had. I haven't really built a good white deck. I haven't had a lot of good luck with the gacha and rolling good white cards. So right now I'm using the Orlane's blue. Obviously in Japanese there are common rider cards, but I guess, you know, some licensing stuff, and they're not common rider cards. So this is the deck I'm currently using right now. It's very powerful. There's a lot of like multiple attacking capabilities. So I'll show the deck on screen right now, just so you can take a quick look. Pause the video if you want to see the build. And then another deck I'm building towards is the green ninja deck. I'm pretty close to finishing it. I'll show this one on screen as well. So the thing about these new decks is the transformation. It's very, very powerful, and I want to show that off in a match in a bit. So this was the last deck that I'm working towards, but I have a lot more longer way to go to build this deck. I really want to pull Anniversary Angela. I haven't had a lot of luck with that so far, but Angela is pretty important to this deck. The reason why I'm not building this deck is that I have 0 of these, and again, 3 legends is a lot of spirits, and I'm not really super like gung-ho about spending it that much spirits right now. So this can be a little expensive for me because I don't have these epics either. But it's there just in case. This is the deck list. If you have these cards, this is a very strong deck to play. So yeah, the one thing I've noticed with Zenonzard is that if you ever see like a new pack, they announce a new pack coming out, you should just build the one good deck that you can think of and just stick with it, because as soon as the new pack comes out, honestly, like your deck that you spent building like could easily become obsolete real fast. I kind of made that mistake initially to, you know, put all my money in building multiple decks, and then it didn't really, like, those decks kind of got nerfed, and I'm like, oh, now I gotta start all over, right? This is not really a good starting hand. A green deck, huh? A Lashley deck. Because they are using Sphinx.
Mana, 私ならこのミニオンを召喚します。お願いします。効果を発動してはどうでしょう。このカードを選択するのはどうでしょう。ここでターンエンドです。ドーンといくよ。ミニオン召喚。ターンエンドだよ。冷静にいきましょう。このカードをベースに配置。マナ、私ならこのミニオンを召喚します。お願いします。私ならこのミニオンを召喚します。ミニオン召喚します。このミニオンを、はい、このミニオンをベース。ここでターンエンドが良いかと思います。ターンエンドです。
So this blue or lanes deck, when you use Pegasus, when you have 4 or more mana, you get more movement. So it builds up mana very quick. So it's very strong. You go through your deck pretty quickly, you get the right cards, and it's pretty hard to stop once it gets going. So this is very, very strong. When the minion deals damage, it can morph into a blue minion belonging to the mask class. And then when it's morphed, it goes active, so you can attack again. So obviously, like the AI, or even when you're playing a real person, they'll be very desperate to block those attacks. I'm not even sure what kind of deck this is. It's like a weird mix of like the ninjas. I guess it's a ninja deck.
Mana, 私ならこのミニオンを召喚します。お願いします。このマナの加護をこちらのミニオンにつけミニオンを強化します。いきます。
Very strong. Like you can reduce your movement because then you have additional movement, mind you. And if you do, you can morph into a blue minion belonging to the mask class. So it becomes a very strong minion that can clear, powerful attack, capable of attacking again because it's transformed. Okay, resting, that's a good way to protect there. But once you like taking the Phoenix Force down is very, very strong, especially early in the game. But as you can see, my Phoenix is rested. Nothing much I can do here. I don't have any mana to counter. So my Phoenix is gonna go down too. Green is very strong, obviously, because of all the resting. A lot of your minions can be rested for multiple turns, and it's very hard to deal with. So this is effect, it destroys the highest cost minion, which is obviously always very good because it tends to be the strongest one. So we're pretty much like even at this point. If he has a strong play here, I'm kind of screwed. This might be my chance. He's gonna have to block this. Or not. And we take those. Should be it. So the deck is pretty straightforward, very powerful. I see my AI has also won its match. So this is like the deck right now, I would say. You want to go blue, green, or yellow. You can obviously play the red and the purple decks. They're just not as strong right now. They can't really deal with the multiple attacking of the mask decks. And then, you know, let's check out our AI replay. So very similar opening for the live battle. So on the other side, a person is playing and my AI is battling against them. So like on the third turn, I already have 4 mana, so I'm gonna have multiple movements.
り上がっていこう。ミニオンスターエンドだよ。
時には大胆さも必要です。ミニオンを強化します。お願いします。できます。
マジック発動。
アタック成功です。
This transforming is like extremely powerful, as you can see right there.
心拍数が上がってきました。
そんなのはどうかな。ミニオンやっちゃうぞ。なかなかやるね。コース破壊したよ。イエーイ。スターエンドだよ。
優しくはしませんので。ここです。はい、ここです。ここです。ここです。できます。負けません。なんとか知りターンエンドです。
やっちゃうぞ。熱々をお届けしちゃうよ。
Oh, so he did have a twin horn in the deck. Interesting build. So how does the deck stop this? Because I can't do anything about it now. So I would have to attack this. The deck would have to win by sheer force. Having like too many monsters on the field that there's nothing to do to block. I could also, there's also the spell that doesn't let a minion get blocked, so that's extremely powerful. So even if he had that big green monster on the field, if I use the spell that, so even if he has that green monster on the field, that big one that can't be targeted, has 1500 BP attack, you use that spell that doesn't allow the monster to be blocked, and it attacks multiple times and has 2 DP. It's extremely hard to stop. So that's it for this video. If you like what you saw, you want more tips for Zenonzard, but now is the time to get into it, and I'll continue to be playing it, and I'll see you in the next video.